All right. Good evening. How's everybody doing? We want to welcome you to the 2021 Project Pipeline 3D Workshop Parent Orientation. Tonight, we're going to go over a little bit about the camp, so you're familiar, workshop, about the workshop, give you a little background on NOMA so you understand kind of who your young people are working with over time. Also go over a little bit of the curriculum and also talk to you about, some things on how to handle if there's some issues or need to understand how to connect with people for the camp. But just basically, it's just to inform you a little bit about the workshop and what your young designers will be working on over that time. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen for a little presentation. And hopefully everybody can see my screen right now. Can everybody see my screen? Awesome. All right. So, like I said, welcome. We are the San Francisco chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architects. We have been an organization actually since the 1970s, but we're reformed as the San Francisco chapter of NOMA in 2002. And so since that time, we've been working hard and working in the community. We started our Project Pipeline camp roughly 11 years ago. And this year is the first year that we've introduced workshops to supplement the camp. And so with that, I'm going to go over a little bit of the information about the organization. So NOMA itself was started by 12 African-American architects from different parts of the country, and we're actually celebrating this year our 50th anniversary. The organization was founded at the AIA National Convention in Detroit, and the AIA stands for the American Institute of Architects, which is one of the professional organizations, actually the largest professional organizations for licensed architects. And at this convention, the architects really were talking about and were frustrated that they were not getting the support they thought they really needed from the AIA. And so they decided to start a new organization that would focus solely on the needs of minority architects. And really the main idea was to focus on how to, one, start to work more together as minority architects, two, to be able to foster to win larger scale projects so they can earn more money, and two, to be able to collaborate and work on projects across the country, and to be able to really have a mentorship network to be able to develop the next generation of minority architects. And here are the names of the original founders. Unfortunately, we've lost the majority of these founders, just a lot of them in the last several years. But, like I said, they've been, were pinnacle on creating this organization. They've been seen as pillars, and the ones that I've met were always really open and welcoming to young professionals into architecture, but really of being supportive of making sure anything we needed to be successful, they would try to help us to make sure that we had that. So Project Pipeline, a little bit about SFNOMA. As I mentioned, we were reformed in 2003. Our mission is to be design activists who really educate youth, foster economic choices for our members, meaning that they have the opportunity, if they want to get started in creating their own business, that we help to support them. And lastly, and most importantly, is that we help to underpower under-resourced communities to be able to help to shape their community in a way that, allows them to thrive. And so our mission underneath our Project Pipeline is really empowering young people to make changes in their community now through design. We feel that no matter their age, that they have the ability to look at a issue in the community and come up with a solution that will help to move their community forward. And we really want to create that next generation of design professionals, civic leaders, and change makers. Meaning, even if they don't go into any of the design fields, which we really want them to go into those design fields, that they will have an understanding of what the power of design is, and more importantly, how to use it to create positive change in their community. And we also want them to know that we're here to really, inclusive diversity, and to be a source of, as young people are starting to matriculate and go through the design professions, that we're here to support them and mentor them and also to really try to create that excellence in creating really good design in communities that generally have not seen good design. Is really about teaching young people about architecture through community-based design. Our summer camp and workshops are a place that are really rigorous and fun, and making sure that we really are teaching them about architecture, engineering, design. And it's done by, a circle of professionals who really want to work with young people and to help to create them as, and nurture their minds and making them civic leaders, as well as also having college students support them and being kind of a bridge between the profession and the young designers that we are working with. And we really want to empower them, to understand that they have the creativity, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, and if they use them together, they really can make some really good positive changes to help serve and improve their communities. And the project pipeline also really over the last couple of years has developed more than just, trying to get students into going through college, or getting into college, to major in the design fields, but really an arc of having them becoming licensed architects. And the students that are going to be taking part of the workshop really are at the beginning of the project pipeline. And, in some other chapters, they actually have high school programs, so they do things with high school students. But ultimately, the next step for most of our students will really be a touch point will be in college, where they hopefully become part of a NOMA chapter, which is the National Organization of Minority Architects Students. And so I believe that we have 60 plus chapters across the country now. And, that is really a point for them to, to one, network with other minority students, but also as an entry point to really start understanding more about the profession and to build that networking already early on with their students in their own chapter, but with chapters throughout the organization, as well as also providing, support for students to get internships and job training while they're in schools through NOMA and various different programs that we have through NOMA. And then once they graduate from college and enter into the profession as interns and young professionals, that NOMA, they join the NOMA chapter and they're supported there as they're going through their licensureship, also networking, helping to secure jobs, and this their professional development as an individual. And then finally, to get their license, either that as a licensed architect, a licensed interior designer, or as a licensed planner. We have mechanisms and programs to support them in their licensing, providing discounts for taking classes, also for getting study materials, and then as well as also in some chapters setting up workshops and programs that help young professionals to pass their exams. So project pipeline is more than just this little part that your young student is going through, but is a complete pathway to getting them to becoming a licensed architect, planner, or interior designer. What are the goals of Project Pipeline? Our goals are pretty simple and straightforward. It's really to provide learning opportunities beyond summer camp for the workshop. Also to start introducing them to digital design tools, which the majority of the profession uses now. It's also to showcase kind of different sectors of the design profession. When we're doing the camp, it's primarily we're focusing on, architecture and planning, and that's really more of a focus on community planning. Here we're introducing kind of more graphic design, 3D elements. People are specialists on doing 3D design, and also looking at, what are those other sectors and other things that we use 3D design for. It's also about exposing them to 3D modeling and 3D printing software. 3D modeling and the printing software is integral to almost every architecture firm now, as well as a lot of design firms too. The 3D printing can be used for not only creating objects, but building out certain components of the actual built projects. This can be used for creating screen, creating specialized lighting elements, creating doorknobs, creating other special objects that you want to be put in, even creating certain parts that then connect with other things that build larger elements in ways that we couldn't do in the past. And the great thing about a lot of this software is a lot of it is free. especially as students. They can sign up as a student and get this software for free to use it and learn it before they even go to college, which is a great thing. And then more importantly, it's really to expand, to teach them to understand the expanding role of technology in the design profession. And like I said, to get them in and learning this before they even go to college and then before they go to a high school, because a lot of high schools are using these different 3D modeling and also do a lot of 3D printing, especially the ones that have a very much a tech emphasis. Here are just some of the images of students from the camp, where they're engaged or working collectively, and even through this workshop, they will be asked to, support each other and work with each other, collaborate, give positive and poignant comments and suggestions to each other. But they'll all learn a range of skills beyond just the 3D printing, much like within our camps. They'll be learning drawing skills, designing skills, critical thinking, analysis, research. So there will be learning a lot of the skills that we do in the camp, but augmenting them really with additional 3D design and printing skills, as well as also presentation skills. And you can see here, these are some of the final presentations that the students had given during the camp. And the students are going through the workshop. We'll be doing a final presentation at the 5th camp, which will be open up to the parents and family and friends of our young designers, but just to kind of showcase, what they produced in the past. I will tell you this, they will not be producing anything as large as this, so you don't have to worry about having to store something like this in your house. But just also them showing them going through some of the work they're doing as they're doing this and some of the presentations. The in-person presentations, I guess we have had upwards of 75 to 80 people show up for the final presentation. So they do have a good crowd that they have to present in front of. The workshops are going to be held 4 consecutive Saturdays. And then the last Saturday, there'll be a gap between the, 5 consecutive Saturdays. And then there'll be a gap between the 5th and the 6th Saturday to have actually have their model that they've actually designed to be able to print that out. So here's kind of the basic order of it. Order of the camps. First weekend will really be about intro to 3D printing and the software that we'll be using, Tinkercad, which is an online piece of software. So there was nothing that the students need to download onto their computer. The second weekend will really be an intro to the design process and kind of starting the project and designing in Tinkercad. The third weekend will be really the design development and starting to understand how to present and give positive feedback to each other on your designs. And the fourth class will really be about refining your design and prepping for your model to get printed. And then really the last one is about finalizing the design and the floor plans and getting that model ready to be printed. And then the last class is about the final presentation on the 16th. So just some general resources, if you had to know any more information about NOMA, you can always go to noma.net. To know more about SFNOMA, you can go to sfnoma.net. For Project Pipeline, you can go the National Project Pipeline. Like I said, this is encompassed and happens about, I believe we're up to 30 different chapters around the country. If you want to find out more about Project Pipeline, you can go to noma.net /Project Pipeline. And for Project Pipelines, SFNOMA's Project Pipeline, you can go to sfnoma.net /Project Pipeline. And as you're going through the camp, if you have any general questions about the camp or need to let us know that a student's going to show up late or maybe might not attend, please email me at camp@sfnoma.net. Or if there's some type of emergency or that day or the morning of the camp that you're having some issues or that will not be able to attend, please give me a call here at this number. I will also send this information out to an email. Well, with the email that I'm sending out to you will also be this information so that you'll have that. And with that, since we're doing this video, there will not be any questions, but if you do have any questions, just please email them to me. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn it over to Devon, who is one of the main design mentors. And the design mentors are the people who will be delivering the curriculum for these workshops. Devon also is one of the authors of creating the curriculum for this, so he's very, very knowledgeable of the whole curriculum. And so I will pass it over to Devon to give a brief overview of what your young designers will be learning as part of this workshop.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? My name is Devon Salters. As Prescott said, I'll be one of the lead design mentors for the workshop. And I'm going to go through the curriculum book, a brief overview. You all, your students will be receiving this physical copy of this with their package. So this will be kind of their guide for any questions that they have. If they don't, yeah, that'll be their guide for any questions that they have, along with us as a resource. So let me go to the next slide. So this is some background on Project Pipeline. Prescott went through that. And then, so step one, so as Prescott said, we'll be using Tinkercad, which is an online platform. So the students will have to join the virtual class. It's just a good way for us to have all the students' projects kind of grouped in one location. So you'll go to tinkercad.com, you'll click join now, you'll join a class, and then you'll use this code and create a nickname, and that will be how your students will join the class. As I said, this is the curriculum book, so you all have a physical copy with all this information. And then, so just a brief overview of class one. We'll go through an introduction of the 3D printing. We'll do a overview of the workshop, and then we'll get into Tinkercad, the basics of Tinkercad. We'll take a break, and we'll come back, and then we'll do some Tinkercad modeling exercises. So this is the project brief. The project that your students will be designing will be a 3D stand, whether it's for a phone, a tablet, just creating a three-dimensional stand. I know it's something that I'm actually pretty excited to create for myself. I think a fun project that is not too big, but still students have a use for. And then these are just the dates again. And then, so as Prescott said, one of the reasons for this workshop is also just wanting to introduce the various professions within the design industry. So for the first part of the class, we'll go through various career paths that you can go into with 3D printing knowledge. And here are some resources for Tinkercad. That way, if people fall behind or have a couple of questions, all the resources I would be using are right here. Or even want to get a head start, all these resources are located here. And this is a list of the shortcuts for Tinkercad. I know once you start using shortcuts, you're just like, it's a whole new world. So I want to give them this list of shortcuts so they can model as quickly as possible. So this is exercise one. For exercise one, we'll be going step by step with them into modeling a wrench. So this is just the step-by-step guide to that. We'll walk the students through this. So basically showing students from start to finish how we get from a blank workspace to a wrench. And then exercise two will be a little bit more hands-off. We'll provide them with the steps, but instead of walking it through them with them, we'll have basically give them the steps and have them model it. We'll be there to answer their questions. We're starting to have them kind of mess around with the software a little bit more on their own. And that's it for class one. And then so heading in class two, I have an introductory lesson. We'll go to breakout groups to do some sketching and inspiration exercises, take a break, and then we'll have another lesson and then go into breakout groups for another, for some design development and transferring their ideas from their sketches into Tinkercad. So for the introductory lessons, we're going to go through some of the basic principles of design. And then we'll start to go into the sketching exercise. So a lot of times it's easier to model when you've already have like an idea in mind, especially if you're new to the software, rather than trying to create the idea and in the software, you kind of already have an idea, and it's a little bit more free flowing too. So want to get the students started with some sketching exercises to get some ideas on paper. And then this is, again, some more design principles. And after that, we'll get into the inspiration board exercise, where we'll have students look at precedents and start to pull together some things they can refer to as inspiration for developing their idea further. And then the last exercise of the class will be taking their sketches and then turning those from sketches into a 3D via Tinkercad. And then so class 3 is really about design development. So really just like furthering their design and starting to build on it. We're going to start with an introductory lesson about critique and feedback. Going to have some desk critiques with the students where they can get direct feedback from the design mentors, take a break. Have some presentation practice where they can get some feedback and critique, and then the rest of the class will be used as the work session. So here's some just tips about how to give and receive critique well. And these are some presentation tips, a guide to help them construct their final presentation. And then class 4, it's all about, this is probably at this point, the students should have a pretty solid idea, and now it's just about refining it and getting it ready for print. So it's going to be more work time, less lesson time for these final 2 classes. So we'll start out the class with just a quick icebreaker and really hop straight into to work session with some critique time. And then after a break, we'll get into presentation prep, where they'll start getting the content ready for their presentations. This is just a breakdown of what I just went over. And then we will start printing. So this is the gap that Prescott were talking about. In order to allow time for to get all the models printed, we're going to take a gap week, and then we will return in order to, after that week, for final presentations. So class 5 will be final presentations, where the students will present their 3D model, as well as everything they'll be doing will be documented in Miro, and they can all those show their process of how they went from their start to their final idea and their final print. So yeah, and now I'm going to pass it over to Darlene to do a quick overview of Tinkercad.
Hello all. Thank you, Devon and Prescott. I'm Darlene, and I am also part of the team of design mentors. I'm going to show you what Tinkercad looks like, what your students will be working in. So this is the interface of Tinkercad. This is a web-based website program. I logged in, I have an account, and I'm able to work within this space to create a model. So how Tinkercad works is they have these shapes that are used, and you're able to combine shapes and manipulate them to create your intended design. So say I wanted to create a box with a hole, like a, what is it, a trash bin. One way I can approach that is to put the cylinder in. And so just to show you how you can play with Tinkercad, and I can create a hole and then combine it. And then that's my little trash bin. So Tinkercad, it's as a tool, it's pretty straightforward. With the interface, they have clear icons of what things mean. If I want to go back, I can ungroup, and there are a lot of different shapes to explore within the program. And throughout the class, as Yvonne's going through the curriculum, we'll be there to guide them and make sure that they have a strong foundation to understand how to use the program. And with that, I'll pass it back to Prescott.
Thank you, Devon and Darlene. To kind of close out the session, just want to kind of go over some, expectations that we have of the students. And these will kind of be reiterated, as the camp goes along. The first one really is, we want each student to respect each other, and, to understand that, there's one mic as when one person is talking. Please be quiet and let the person talk. Also, that, during the time that they're online, we ask they're not messing around and playing with their phone over on the side or anything else, that they give their full attention, when instruction is going on. Also want to make sure that that they should try to have headphones so they can keep their focus and hear what's going on more easier. And, really more importantly, that we ask them to strive to participate at their highest level of that day. We know some days you just aren't feeling 100%, but, just try as much as whatever your best feeling is in the most way that you can engage and work that day. We just ask you to show up with that. We ask you to make sure that your young designer shows up on time. Class starts promptly at 10, and we'd like to get started at 10. So, we're really utilizing our time with them to the best advantage. There will be a break, a lunch break every day, so they will have that time to get lunch and periodically, as the mentors feel and maybe see, allow for smaller breaks during in the morning and in the afternoon. As always, if a student needs to go to the bathroom or grab something to eat or get something to drink, they just need to inform their design mentor so they know that they're going to leave, so they're aware of that. We ask them to try to make all the classes, but we do understand there's a lot of factors that sometimes does not allow you to attend each one of them. In that case, please make sure you let us know as soon as possible, either by preferably by emailing, but if it's on the day of, please give us a call. Also want to make sure that the language that we use and that each one of the young designers are using is really about respect, both in your speech and in your actions for everybody that's working with them, to other volunteers that might come in, and most especially to the design mentors and the other students that are in the space. We also want to make sure that that as part of this program, that we're asking them to kind of be responsible for the stuff that we sent to them, and that that they try to take care of it as they're going through the program, and they keep it in a place that they know they can access it every Saturday. If you can help to determine a good place for them to keep that stuff during when they're not using it during the week. And when I say that we're sending you or we're dropping you off or sending a design kit that has notebook, pens, pencils, graph paper, things to help them draw, a variety of different things, tape, lots of different stuff, pencil sharpeners that will allow them to kind of work and build, and also build some test out physical models. So just know that they're, in general, they will not need too much support from adults. Most of that will really be coming through the design mentors, but occasionally they might need assistance with something for you, so just want to be aware for that. That might be something to deal with the technology not working during the day, you know, internet's not working, computer's not working, mouse not working, something along that line. You know, same thing, just try to make us aware that, you know, if something is going wrong, you know, so we're aware, not just thinking that they're not showing up for the day. But, you know, there's, you know, we know some of the students could be a little zoomed out or online zoomed out. So we just ask them, you understand, you know, we're going to try to make this as fun as an environment. And we ask them to try to, you know, keep it as a jovial environment, knowing that this is not school, but this is something where we are going to be teaching and they are going to be learning. But, you know, we want to try to make it as fun as an environment as possible. That they just come in with that mindset that this is something fun, you know, and that this is something they've asked to do, and this should be an enjoyable experience, and they should come out with some really wonderful, amazing designs at the end, and a product that you can place proudly around your house for all to see. And I think that's all that I have. You know, Doreen or Devon, do you have anything else you kind of want to just put out there?
No, I think you covered it all.
Good. And just as a reminder, the last day of the workshop will be open for you to come and to see them do the final presentation, and we'll send you a link out especially for that, and for you know, to allow others to be invited for that too. So unless there's anything else you guys need to add, I will say we thank you for spending a little time with us this evening or whenever you're watching this video. And we look forward to having your young designers participate in our first ever workshop, as they will be known forever in SFNOMA history as the pioneers. So thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.